Assalamu alaikum. So here we'll take a look and understand how to work with collections, documents, sub-collections, and documents. Now, first take a look at our Firebase console or backend. Now, this is our Firebase console backend. Here I have collections, as you can see, and we'll focus on this collection over here. Now, for this collection, we have some documents, and if we click each of these documents, we do see that we have different questions and information like that. Well, now each of these documents, they also have a sub collection. So this is a collection documents, and this is my sub collection. And inside this sub collection, I have documents as well, and each of them, they contains collection and other fields. And if we click this sub collections, we do see that we have more documents, and those documents also have other documents or fields like that. Actually, other fields, not documents. So we'll see how to retrieve them and how to work with the query from our Flutter app. Now, one thing before we go ahead with Flutter app code, over here, I want you to take a look. So over here, I do have this over here list view, and each of the list view actually corresponds to this documents over here. Now, of course, this might not be that visible. If we click on this over here, so we will see that we have this questions and a title, like for example, this title is physics, right? Now, actually, this is what it refers to here, like we do have physics. And over here, we do see that we have like 5 questions and a basic description, okay? And this is what we see. Well, we do see have 5 questions and basic description. Now, if we are going to click on this, we'll definitely see more documents over here, which are part of sub collections. The documents become part of sub collections, and as well as we have question and answers. And this exactly we see if we click on this over here. So we do see that we have questions and answers. Of course, we can go ahead and click next, and it would work. So this is the function actually that's got called to load the data, all this data. As we click on this, it loads the data, question and answer. So how to work with this one? Well, definitely we do have, like as I said, we have inside our first collection, we have 5 documents, okay? Now, when we are on this page, actually, we are sending a model over here. Actually, from the name, you see that it's a model. Now, whenever you click on any of this card, it calls this model, and from this model, we send information. So as we click on this, our models, okay, so we refer to each of these documents over here. Each of them over here refers to this document. So as we click on this, actually we are clicking on this document. So as we click on this function gets called, then we can access the ID. So what we are doing over here, so first we are referring to our Firebase collection with this, and then we refer to the documents with this collection. So over here, this is the collection and these are the documents. As I said, each document, they have ID. In our case, these are the IDs. So we get the ID, and for that ID, we know that we have more collections, and collections names are all same over here. So that's called questions. So this is our document and document ID, and for that document, we get a sub collection. So questions is our sub collections. So we get the sub collections, and then we do .get. Now with this .get, actually we get all the documents that we have in our sub collections. So if this is our sub collection over here, we get a lot of documents, as you can see. So when we are here, when we're done with this .get, we'd be actually getting all of this. Anyway, so whatever is that we get, we save it in a variable called question query. Of course, since we are getting data from Firebase console backend, so we are returning query snapshot. So in our case, we are returning query snapshot as a map string dynamic. So once we are done with this one, actually we are getting all these documents in this variable. Okay, now since we are returning a map, we can do more work on them. So over here, we get all the docs, we specially mention the docs, and then we call the map function, and we get and we create a variable which is called question, and we pass to it. And those questions, now at the same time we call questions from snapshot. Now what is this snapshot? Now this snapshot you use like this. Now this snapshot is more like JSON that we get data. Now instead of calling from JSON, we call it from snapshot, but you can call it anything. So we pass each of these questions or the document. So over here, we're passing the document. Document is our question. So we are passing them over here, and we get the document ID. So this document ID would refer to them. And then we have other fields. We have some questions and correct answer, which refers to question and correct answer. Okay, so for that sub collections, we are accessing all the documents, and then we get question and correct answer field. So over here, question and correct answer. Now we go back. Now we'll go back to our quiz controller over here. So we get each of them, and then we convert it to an object, and those objects are saved in a list. So at the end, we convert this map to a list. So this one becomes a list. And if this is a list or not, we can verify that. Now over here, we'll print a message. So since this is the list, we can access the first item in the list, and we'll print out this information as we click on this card over here. Let's go ahead and do that. So let's click on this card. So we see that over here it says questions, instance of questions. Okay, but we can dive more into this. So over here, one thing we could do, definitely we could do here dot length. So we could do more things over here. For example, we can print the ID over here. Let's go ahead and print ID. Restart it, we'll step back. Now we'll click on this one more time. And as we see, this questions over here being printed, and we see that ID. So now we'll go ahead and click on the second one, this one. And so if we scroll down to this, and we see exactly this is what the document under the second sub collection. This is what exactly the document under the sub collection. So it means that with this query over here so far, now, which means that with this query and converting it to this list of objects, we can access up to here. And if we try to access more, for example, if we want to access this answers collection, we won't be able to do that. Let's go ahead and check it. Now, as we can access ID over here, now we'd do like, for example, over here, we would do answers, and let's see what we get. Let's save it, and then we'll step back, and we'll click on the first one anyway. Now we do see that it's empty. So, which means that with this query, we are done up to now. So if we want to access more items from our sub collections, so the question is a sub collection, right? Sub collection document, and this is another sub collection, so which is not working. So we need to have more query. Now how to do that? And actually I have done this one. Now what's happening over here? So I take this question. This question is already a list. Since it's a list, we can look through it. So over here, this is a list. Okay, now this list I'm assigning to quiz paper dot questions over here. Now that is a model. That model, this field takes a list. Okay, so in this case, this is the reason why I'm assigning this list to this list. Okay, now since this node is a list, I can access underlying objects from this list inside this for loop. So this is why I have the for loop over here, which is quiz paper dot questions. So I'm taking the list, and I'm getting one items from the list each time as we go through the list, as we go through the for loop. Okay, now what's happening over here one more time? So first we get the collection, and for each collection we get the document ID. So once you are over here, let me show you. So when you do like this, doc quizpaper.id, Actually, it refers to this ID. Okay, great. Then it means we can access up to here. And after that, we do see that we have collections. Now, this collection refers to the collection name questions, which is this one. Okay, great. So far we are able to access this section over here. And now we do see that we have documents and questions.id, which refers to this document, and document has ID. Actually, this is also the ID over here. After that, we do see that we have another collection. Now, that collection is referring to this collections over here. Great. And after that, what do? We get all the documents for this collections. So which means we are getting all of this. Now, this one refers to all the documents up to this node over here. Now, since this is going to return a map, we want to convert them to a list. So this is what we do over here. So over here we have a snapshot from JSON, and over here at the same time we convert some of these fields like as a string, identifier and answer. So if we click on this, we see that identifier and answer. So for this document, we get these fields and we convert them to a string as well as return them as an object. As we do that, we convert everything to a list over here and save this in this variable. Now this variable is assigned to the questions over here, which is this one. Anyway, if you want to work with the collections, documents, subcollections, document, and sub-collections, this is the core part. Only thing you need to change, most probably based on your needs, creating a model. Anyway, so part of the code is given in the link below, so you should check that out. Thank you.